About what we've come up with is that these sliders over here are what we use to help facilitate serendipity. Everybody was given the same design, and so we did a lot of the same tasks. We decided, because we were hungry, that we wanted to concentrate on food blocks with our specific collection. It seemed appropriate at the time. And when we really started thinking about it, we decided that all of the particular searchers that we might find searching food blocks for information really should be our audience, people looking for recipes, new ingredients, people interested in food science. All could conceivably be going here to look at this, and we needed to take them all into consideration. When we got to the question of serendipity, we had what might be academically described as a very vigorous and serious debate. What we settled on was the metaphor of searching for a needle in a haystack. Not the way we traditionally think of it, as in something that's very hard to find, but that when you're looking for a needle in a haystack, that needle is your search term, and you may find other things in that haystack which are kind of useful to you. If we were to take just purely, for example, researchers in information science and technology, it would be looking through many, many articles, looking for that one that really has to do with your research interest, but you inevitably find things that are pertinent to other interests as well, pertinent to other research projects you have, and perhaps sometimes to some of the colleagues that you have that may be able to use that article that you just ran across. You can read the definition as well as I can. I'm not going to read it to you. But what we really came up with to try to help facilitate that serendipity was a bidirectional expanded search, allowing people to go through mediated tags from all of the blogs. We tried to come up with ways to pull out the dross and get the stuff out that's not useful to anybody. And then another way of making sure that you can expand the search on the full text of the posts from the blog authors themselves.
Great, okay, so this is the surface, but what's under the hood, you ask yourself? Okay, we are going for a multi-vector approach, and that's what's really important. We have a bunch of different algorithms that are going to interact, which is the key thing. So there's going to be synergy, there's going to be emergence, and it's going to be great. Okay, so 6 algorithms. The first one is our popularity regulating algorithm. Why is that important? Because if something is really, really popular, people already are going to know about it, so it's not really going to be serendipitous to come across it. Okay, so then we have a couple algorithms relating to randomness, and the scare quotes are important, it's not really random. Okay, so the first is sort of adding random words based on basically Matthew set manipulation. The second one is increasing the randomness factor when the sliders go up, and that's going to be seeded by something related to the theme. All right, so third one, okay, 3 similarities algorithms. The first one, trivial similarities. So basically there, we are going to deal with sets of similarities, and there's going to be a coefficient involved. Okay, structural similarities, like recipe structure, maybe a cooking process structure. Okay, topical similarities, that is cool. That's where we're going to exploit multiple ontologies related to food and ways of thinking about food and taxonomies and things like that. So in sum, the key thing is that our algorithms interact in order to increase and play around with semantic distance and randomness, you know, as the sliders move around and as the search terms change. All right, so this is what the user is going to see. All right, the thing that we see here is that the user can modify, as Chris said, these sliders. The user can type something into the search bar. The user can browse some suggested flavors, and if the user doesn't type anything in, you know, fairly quickly, then, you know, some things will cycle through, you know, like a suggestion of miracle berry, or maybe, you know, it'll, like, a second later say, try cardamom. All right, so suppose the user has done a search for pineapple, and suppose that the search has been, like, fairly low, so it's going to be pretty closely related to a standard search about pineapple. Okay, here, you can see, like, fairly, you know, results you might expect to see from a regular search. In the clips area, because serendipity is really related to a process, we really need to think about cognition, and, you know, we need to facilitate the user's ability to keep thinking about things, to keep, you know, going off in different directions. So that's just sort of to help store, to help remember. All right, so you notice that some of the words are highlighted. That is kind of fun. So when you go to a term like that, that looks kind of, it might be kind of rich, and you mouse over it, you get a pop-up. Okay, so what's happening here is that the function is arbitrarily adjusting, you know, the sliders, and then it's showing the first result for if you searched that word based on that adjustment of the sliders. All right, this is an example of a search where we're getting, we're upping the serendipity factors a little bit. So we search for pineapple, and the word pineapple isn't necessarily in any of these, but there's still results that you might be interested in. Okay.
As we know that this is a prototype, that it is incomplete, and that there are gaps in what we've done. But that's what happens in 48 hours. So we know that some usability studies on the interface are absolutely going to be necessary. Do the sliders work? Do people know what to do with them? Do we need to explain a little more how they work, or do they stand on their own? Well, we also know that we want to develop over time, after some data collection and data mining, the browsing suggestions that we give to people that will help them to maybe facilitate their own serendipitous discovery. And what we really need is user feedback as to why they ceased a particular search. Were you satisfied? Did the interface just be horrible? Why did you stop? We need to know so that we can improve on it. A whole bunch of references. Good luck reading it at that font size. That is our presentation.